let's start with something very simple, and you won't even need to write this down. You can just watch, and you should be able to follow along and catch on. So if I had the square root of x equals 4, what value for x makes that true? 16. Now, is this a case where it would be plus or minus? No. So x squared equals 16, that's where you get plus or minus. So we're really just kind of looking at 1/2. So if I square root this, I get the square root of x equals plus or minus 4. We're only looking at half of that problem. So there is no plus or minus here. But the fact that the plus or minus exists in something similar is going to cause us a little bit of a problem. Okay? So what if I had the square root of x minus 1 equals 3? What is that asking for? Not how to solve it. What is it asking for? What number minus 1 square rooted is 3? So is there a number you can subtract 1 from square root and get 3? 10. Now, these are going to get kind of complicated, and if they're decimals or fractions, then you certainly don't want to do these in your head. So algebraically, we just pick it apart one step at a time, and the way to undo a square root, is to square. So I'm going to square and square. So I get x minus 1 equals 9. I'm going to add 1, and I get x equals 10. But, yes, we'll get to that in a second. But when you do this, because there are square roots and squares in there, so let me back up. If we had x squared equals plus or minus 4, oh my goodness, sorry, x squared equals 16, there are two answers, right? Plus or minus 4. Well, we're kind of going backwards, and we're squaring a square root, and we're squaring this, and because squares cancel out negatives, so like the square of negative 2 is 4, because of that, there is a chance that we created an answer that doesn't in fact work. So on all of these problems, you have to plug them back in and double check, does my answer actually work or not? Because sometimes it won't. So I'm going to put 10 back in here. 10 minus 1, 9. Square root of 9, 3. We're good. Okay? Well, what if I add 2x minus 5 square rooted equals negative 3? I'm going to square both sides, and I get 2x minus 5 equals 9. Add the 5. 2x equals 14. Divide by 2. X equals 7. But when I plug 7 back in there, does it work? 14 minus 5 is 9. Square root of 9 is at negative 3. No. So this one gave me an answer algebraically, but that answer doesn't actually balance out the equation. Okay, you might want to pay attention to this. Do you know how many times your name is on this recording? A lot. Yeah. Those people out there in the internet think Katie is such a bad girl. No. I am not putting your name on the internet. So 7 doesn't work. That's not a solution. So this one actually has no solutions. Okay, what if I had 5 square root of 4 minus x equals 20? If you have numbers outside the square root, then you have to get rid of those numbers before you square it. So some of you aren't paying attention, but that's okay, I guess. We divide by 5. Square root of 4 minus x equals 4. Square both sides. 4 minus x equals 16. Subtract 4. negative x equals 12, so x equals negative 12. Okay? So now I plug it back in. What is 4 minus negative 12? 16, square root of 16. 4 and 4 times 5 is 20, so that works. Okay? What if I had 5 plus the square root of x minus 1 equals 3? I need to subtract the 5 over. So the square root of x minus 1 equals negative 2. Square it. X minus 1 equals 4. So x equals 5. Now I double check to see if that 5 actually works. 5 minus 1 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. Does 5 plus 2 equal 3? No. So that answer does not work. So there's no solution in this one. Okay. No, it's not. I'm making all these up. Okay, what if I had the square root of 4x plus 8 equals the square root of 2x minus 16? I square both sides. 4x plus 8 equals 2x minus 16. So you may want to watch this because this one is a little strange. So subtract 2x, subtract 8, x equals negative 12. Well, I plug in negative 12, and I get negative 48 plus 8 is the square root of negative 40, which means it doesn't mean anything at the moment. We got to do the other side and see if it matches. So 2 times negative 12 is negative 24 minus 16 is the square root of negative 40, which is interesting. So the only number that makes that equation equal, that balances out that equation, creates imaginary numbers, which can happen. But the important thing is it is balanced. So it's not balanced in the real world, however. It's somewhere else. I don't think that the worksheet's going to do that to you, but just know if you see something like that, it still works, even though the numbers are imaginary. I've been doing this a long time. Do you realize I've had math classes every year for the last 27 years, 26 years? Okay, I want you to watch this. This is kind of, you're not going to see one like this today, but it will prep us for what we're going to do tomorrow. So don't write this down, just watch. If I can find it. Okay, so the square root of x plus 9 minus 7 equals x. This is not one on your worksheet. So in order to square this, I need to move the 7 to the other side. Add 7 equals x plus 7. So I square both sides. And I get x plus 9 equals x squared plus 14x plus 49. Yes, this one will have 2. So I subtract x, and I subtract 9. So x squared plus 13x plus 40, which factors into x plus 8 and x plus 5. So the roots are negative 8 and negative 5, but I have to double check, does that work? So I plug in negative 8. Negative 8 plus 9 is 1. Is 1 minus 7 equal to negative, or is 1 minus 7 equal to negative 8? 1 minus 7 equal negative 8. No. So 8 didn't work. So negative 5 plus 9 is 4. Square root of 4 minus 7, is that equal to negative 5? Yes. 2 minus 5. So this one only had one solution. And tomorrow, we are going to figure out why some of them work and some of them don't work. But I didn't tell you why today, and nobody picked up on it. At least nobody said anything. Because some are dumb and some aren't. Okay, so this worksheet should be really simple. I mean, you'll probably be done in 15 minutes. You're welcome.